Welcome to Behind the Wrenches, podcast that gets behind the tools of shop life. I'm your host, Zach Gradowski, and with me is Randy Solomon, both ex-dealer technicians. Lots of scars and even more stories. A little bit about myself. I'm 23 years in this business. Dealer tech, independent, been out in Wyoming, worked out there, coal mines, oil field, all that fun stuff. Been doing a lot of years. Randy, tell us about yourself.
I'm Randy. I've been working in the shop for 26 years. I was a dealer technician for 23 years for a major manufacturer. ASE master technician, state certified. We both worked at GM Tech Line.
We did, yeah.
We've been around and doing a lot of stuff. Whether anybody finds this interesting, I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea either. So, a couple of questions we'll start out today with, because it's stuff I want to know, stuff you and I have talked about many times. So, I keep hearing all these reports that we're 800,000 technicians short in the United States. There's a lot of reasonings behind that. A lot of guys have their own theories and what's going on. A lot of it's technician pay, blah, 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 on and on and so forth. But I'm going to ask you the real question, a question I've always wondered. Are you a real tech if you haven't considered killing yourself at least once a year?
No, you're not. Honestly, for what you do and what we do as out in the shop doing this stuff, if you haven't really thought about it, I don't think.
I'm not talking like going home and just end it. I'm talking about when you're leaving work, you're driving home, and you're like, I'm just going to steer this truck into the ditch and just end it. We're done.
It's crossed every technician's mind. I'm pretty sure. I always thought my way was you take the problem car with you, so the problem's gone.
Right. I'm going to go test drive this. I won't be back. I'll talk to you later. Too many times.
Yeah,
Too many times. The problem is that I don't think they're doing enough pizza parties. I think that's the big problem with dealerships.
Well, like I said, I do believe that Little Caesars was involved in some way in how we got to where we are. Because they had to be.
Somehow they got involved. They got some big discount.
Well, I'm assuming so. Right. Stock options or something.
Right.
Come on.
Right. That's what it was. But that's.
I don't know. I don't know. It comes down to, it is. It's a tough industry. I don't want to knock anybody who does it, but, it's tough.
I remember being at the dealership 23 years ago as a student technician and getting called into meetings. We had meetings every other week or once a month, whatever it was. They get us our pizza. But what I think the reason these guys aren't doing it anymore is because, we get our pizza and then the managers would come in and they'd tell us how worthless we all were. Yeah. Like, I'm just sitting there eating my pizza with 15 other guys. Yeah. They walk in there and tell us, they said, we'll replace all of you tomorrow. We got 10 more applicants on our desk, and you're gone. Yeah. You screw up, you're gone.
The time for that is come and gone. It doesn't happen anymore. They can't do it.
Right.
And they did this to themselves. All the manufacturers, all the dealers. They did. Period. There's nothing.
Right. The other thing that I have a problem with, and not to sit here and dog on, any one group in the dealer or anything like that, because, salesmen have their place, technicians have their place, body guys, all that stuff. But my big question is why are we catering to salesmen? I'm not saying that, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's nothing, but a quick story, I knew a salesman. He had only worked at a dealership for 2 years. 2 years. And the second year he was there, he sold a boatload of cars, whatever it was. The dealer gave him a full paid vacation to Hawaii.
Yep.
Full paid. Mm-hmm. They paid for everything, sent him to Hawaii because he sold more cars than anyone.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, these guys in the back shop, myself being one of them, all got awards from General Motors for being top technicians. And they came out, threw the pieces of paper at us, and said, hey guys, thanks, and just walked off.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Right.
It comes down to, salesman. It's a tough sale. But that guy walks in there
They're looking for a car. They didn't walk in looking for a toaster.
Right.
I mean,
Right. Yeah,
I mean,
right, yeah.
you know, they came in because they wanted a car, not because they were like driving by and they said, you know, I've never looked at one of those cars. I'm going to see what it's about. No, they were looking for one. I mean,
Right. I like your grocery store analogy you always say.
oh,
With the cases of pop.
oh yeah, you know, boy, I got a Pepsi over here, but you know, it's,
Walk in and walk up. As soon as you go to grab the case of Pepsi, some guy runs out, stops you.
you need Coke.
I need Coke. I was telling you this one.
You gotta buy the Coke. It's better, you know.
Right. Right.
Like I said, I know a bunch of salesmen. It's a tough industry, it is, but Carvana showed us we can use kiosks.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Right.
You know,
They're here. Supposedly right here in Michigan, there's one in Grand Rapids. I've never dove into that, but I guess they have a Carvana in Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
And Lansing, apparently.
The first time I seen a Carvana, it was probably 2017, 18 on my way to Talladega for the
Okay.
races. We were driving through Nashville, and I'm like, what's this giant pillar of cars? That's what it was, just like on the commercial. And I'm like, you know, we'd never even heard of it up until then. But that's, you know, put
Right.
your quarter in, here comes your car.
Right.
You know, I mean,
Supposedly they actually gave out tokens for those. You ever see that? They're like,
Yeah.
you got a token like this
Yeah.
big or whatever. You put it in and your car gets, I mean, don't start when it's delivered to you, but.
no, but I mean, even then, it's, you know,
Right.
you're buying a used car. I don't know, whatever. That's a
So-
whole other subject.
Right, right. So, but let's go beyond this a little bit, though. I've been argued with a lot on this. I really believe it's coming. I'm going to ask you, how long before AI starts selling cars?
Not long.
I think it's
I mean, what they're doing right now. I mean, I watched Mr. Rogers and Tupac having a conversation the other day.
Right. See
And
the
I'm
one
like-
with Bob Ross now?
Yeah, Bob Ross, and they were tuning an engine.
Right.
Him and
I
Mr.
seen
Rogers were tuning an engine. I'm like, that was my favorite. I'm like,
I did too.
I go, you know, how much of this? I don't know how much of this stuff's really out there.
Right.
You have no clue. I'm like, you know, but yeah, you're gonna walk in. There's gonna be a hologram, and they're gonna go, which car would you like to buy today, sir? Right. And that's, you know.
The only thing I don't know if AI will take over is if it'll take over the used car market. I think that's going to be a little tougher.
Well, like
Maybe.
you got Carvana. They're used cars. They're not new.
Right.
So you kind of got it there, but you got to remember you're talking definitely B lot stuff. It's not going to happen there. You're not going to see any of that because I mean,
I don't think so either.
you know, it's just like the same thing. They go, what's stopping you from getting an electric car? Well, the cost.
Right.
You know, and like, you know, I can't steal electricity from my neighbor like everybody else. I don't live close enough.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
Jesus.
I don't.
But as far as back talking about dealerships and stuff, the problem I have with all of it is that a whole bunch of things have happened all at once, and
Well,
Well-
the dealer technician, the shortage, like I said, they came in, me and Josh in high school, 10th grade, 96, and there was a there was technician shortage then,
right,
and they knew it.
right,
And instead of fixing the problem, they doubled down on it into
Right.
the early 2000s, and then they were just like, they're like, oh my God, now we're on CNN and everything, and we got nobody. We don't understand why. I'm like,
I'm looking it up right now. It says current shortage is around 800,000 technicians, with increasing. It says by 2026 increasing to another 100,000 on top of that.
I mean, it's tough on your body. It's tough,
Well, you know what's funny? Josh and I were just having a good friend of ours, Josh. He's been a technician for years and years.
Yeah.
Him and I were talking today, and I said, I'm already catching myself at the point where I'll be working on a car, and I'll just drop the wrench. Like, literally just drop it on the floor, looking down the floor, going,
it catches
how
up
did
to
that
you.
go there? You know, I just had it
your
in my
hand
hand.
And like
Yeah.
I said, it's more and more, like today I was doing my own stupid stuff, all of our junk we do and everything.
Right.
Then I'm swapping all these tires and moving all this stuff, and I was exhausted by like 3 o'clock. I'm like sitting there, I'm going, man, we got to go do this thing tonight, try
Right.
this out.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah, here we are. Yeah.
But, I go, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm not
Right.
20 anymore.
Well, that's why we got to do this, because
Yeah, this would be great.
We can
Somebody,
sit and talk. Yeah, we can sit and talk to each other.
well, if we could get somebody, wink, wink, give me a fucking pit crew, or
Yeah,
and
that's right.
they could do all the work, and I could just show up and drive the truck. That's great.
So a little bit of backstory behind Randy and myself. We are big time off-roaders. We trail ride all the time. Big in the mud bog scene, all sorts of stuff. Hot rods, you name it. The truck behind us is actually a '85 Silverado that I built. It's just a street truck. Randy's got a Ford Lightning, not the cool SVT Lightning.
No,
like
I got the
had.
first. No, that was a SVT. That's their first.
That's still an SVT Lightning, but
Yes, it's got an R edition code. It's the first generation.
doesn't have that little whirly wheel on top.
No, it doesn't have the supercharger. But the problem is that's the truck I grew up with. That was the truck.
The thing I think is funniest is that I've had 3 Lightnings.
Yeah.
And my other truck with a big block with a supercharger on it. 16-year-old me would be so excited.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I could call him and be like, "Listen, man, we did it. All right, we got blowers on our engines. We won. All
Well,
right?
I know. I would call 16-year-old me and say, "This is what you got right now, but also listen. This is what you're gonna do. Don't do this. Don't do that at the dealership. When you get the chance, take it from them because they're taking it from you."
Right. But they're a family.
Yeah. That's.
I've been told that a lot. It's weird.
Oh.
We're a family.
We're a family.
We're all family here.
We're all family. Yeah.
Our producer behind the camera right now, he was a parts guy for a dealership. So we can make fun of him later for being a parts guy. Because nothing's in stock ever.
No. Well.
That's 3 days out.
Yeah.
It's right there on your computer. That's 3 days. It's on that.
Well, the worst thing is.
What's that, Rhett?
National back order.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's on the
National-
shelf behind you, Rhett. Nope, it's back ordered. We're back ordered.
I mean, it's funny to listen to, dealers and stuff, especially domestics, because I did 23 years in a foreign dealership.
Right.
Parts, they're like 3 days every time, because it had to come from another country.
Right.
I can't even imagine now. I mean, when COVID hit and all that crap, everything went sideways. But it was like, I love hearing a GM. We had to wait a day for a part. Oh, yeah, really? You did? Dude, we used to push cars out all the time because that's all we did. You waited for parts.
Right.
I worked with a guy.
It's gonna be great.
He was in Poland. He was an old Polish guy. And he worked at a car dealership in Poland that was a Russian car dealership. And you would order parts for these cars, and they would send like an axle, a transmission, a windshield, and a wiper blade. And you needed the wiper blade. Well, this is how it came, the package. He said they had piles behind the dealership of parts because that's the way the Russians did it. You bought a package.
Huh.
I don't remember the name of the car manufacturer. I mean, that guy's probably long gone at this point now.
Right. He's not doing it no more.
But I mean, it's different every place you go.
I don't know. Like I said, I was obviously in domestics forever. Mm-hmm. I think one of the biggest problems the dealership has is, and I don't know when this started, I don't know when this happened, and I used to say this all the time. Anytime a customer would come in and throw a fit, they would bend over backwards for that guy. But the guy that came in and never complained, never bitched, never nothing, paid his bill every time, got his oil changes, they would run the screws through those guys every single time and bend over. The dealerships have created their own monster.
Well, CSI is its own. That's horrible. CSI needs to go.
CSI's a joke.
CSI and JD Power need to get out of the auto industry.
Yeah, they do.
You use CSI, like you said before, we discussed this, as a tool.
Yes.
As a tool.
To get better.
Not as a weapon.
Yeah.
It's a weapon.
That's all they've done is weaponized it.
Yeah.
They weaponized CSI against. What I think is screwed up, what bothers me about CSI is that if your CSI is not 100%, you get docked as a dealer or a service writer or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. But on the flip side of that, do you remember 20-some years ago, whatever it was now that we just talked about, when we took our ASC tests, you had to score 85% or higher to pass that test or pass all those tests?
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be. You know what it is today?
It's like 70.
62.
Is it down to 62?
62% is what I just read that. And what bothers me about that is that, okay, so you only need 62% or 70%, we'll say whatever, of to get these tests right to get ASE certified. But to have customer service has to be 100. So the dealership, the manufacturers expect you to get hundreds here, but only need you at 70 here. I never understood that. But the thing is that what they're using CSI against us on is, you've seen them surveys, haven't you?
Oh,
I've
yeah.
seen people tank CSI or them surveys because the coffee wasn't what the brand they used in the waiting room.
Dealership amenities.
That's
Who
stupid.
cares about that?
Right.
Even at a high end, like, I dealt with doctors and lawyers,
Right,
and
right.
their time is more valuable than your time.
Right.
Period. And is what it is. But when it comes to CSI, it's just like it's a battle. You're looking at, they go, I couldn't get out of the dealership. It was tough to get out of the dealership is one of the questions. How can that be changed in a city?
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It's dumb.
For the folks at home, what is CSI?
Customer service.
It's been too long now.
Oh God, I can't remember.
Hold on, we got our fancy.
We're gonna pull it up on the computer. Yeah, customer service index. Yeah, it's they get 20 or 15 questions on after the repair. Like, was the car fixed right the first time? How long was your wait to get in? Those kind of important. The fixed rate first time.
The thing is, here's what I don't get about fixed rate first time. Do I believe that you should be able to fix a car right the first time? Yes, but that has stipulations that go with it. Because I've had customers come in before, and this, and I own my own shop, and I see it all the time. This is one of the reasons I opened my own shop. It's not just because of CSI, but because I was tired of the dealers, tired of their games. The politics at a dealership is so horrific, it's not
horrible.
even funny. But we'll get into more of that in a minute. But my point is that I've had this before. I had a customer bring in a car, and their exact words were, they called me up and they said, "Hey, my check engine light's on." Okay, so I said, "Bring it on this day. I'll scan it, and we'll look at it and scan it and get an idea." They brought it in. Check engine light's not on anymore. No codes. I scanned it. There was no codes in this car.
Yeah.
And they swore that the light was on, all this other stuff. So if I scan it and I find no codes and I take it for a test drive and I find no issues and I give it back to them and they call me 2 days later and the check engine light's back on, according to the dealer world, that's comeback.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So what are we calling? I understand if you get what I'm saying.
Well, we had a service manager, and he used to get excited when you had a comeback. Like it was, I don't know if he
they
felt
got a kick out of it.
Yeah, like they felt like that you were down on their maybe their level. You weren't as smart as you claimed to be, or whatever.
Right.
And it's never like I've said I'm the smartest guy in the room or any of that. I'm not that guy at all.
Right.
I can fix a lot of things, and I sometimes pull it out of thin air. But whatever, But a comeback, as far as I'm concerned, is, not that the check engine light's back on, or that the part failed, or something like that. I think they're going to use a comeback as, hey, you got to deal with this. This is your comeback. This is because something you did that made the issue come back.
Right.
Not, if you find out that the part failed because they got 85 of them that were built by Juan and he didn't hook the O2 sensor wire up right inside of it.
Right.
That's not a comeback.
Right.
And they're never going to come up to you after the fact and go, you know what, we found out that these parts were bad. Sorry about that. No, they're just going to sweep it under the rug and,
Right.
It's just that thing to kind of make you feel like you're inadequate at what you do.
They love doing that.
Yeah.
That's their favorite thing in the world.
We discussed this before, but I told the one dealer owner, I says, there's nobody more vested in your dealership than your technicians. I said, they've spent their time, their money. I says, in my career, I spent $100,000 on tools.
Right. Probably more than that.
Yeah,
We won't go there what it was.
We just Snap-on. I know that because we went through it, and whatever. Snap-on, Matco. I've had them all, just about everything out there. But I go, that guy, he's vested in your company to make it better, make it easier for himself, and to make money.
Right.
I says, those are the guys you need. It's like a salesman. He comes in, sits down at a desk, you gave him, and a computer, and you give him a pen, and then you give him a trip when he sells 2 cars,
Right.
whatever,
You know what the interview process is for a salesman, right?
Well, it's the same thing as a service writer. You got here in a car, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you know
what
how
do
to
you know
drive.
What do you know about cars? I drove one here.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on in. Come on in.
You're in. You're in. You know where gas goes, right? Yep. Okay. I mean,
Right.
I could hear that.
I know, so could I. I was laughing about. That's what
I thought we were going. I thought there was music playing. We're like, hey,
That's
all
the
right,
problem
off
when you-
topic.
That's the problem when you're a business owner. The phone never stops. It never stops. But you know what though? I work more hours now than I did at the dealership.
Well, yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I will take that any day over working
Yeah.
for one
Well,
of those guys.
you work more hours, but you're doing in.
You know what? One of the
You
things
can say no.
Right, but that's one of the things I like the most about, and I don't say no very often. I don't. I try to take care of everything I take care of for customers and all that other stuff. Here's the thing, though, and this is where I think dealers really, really screwed up. Number one, we talked about CSI and how those surveys they're weapons that the manufacturers use
Yeah,
and all
it's
that other
horrible.
stuff. But here's the killer part: is that when these customers come in, if they're going to, why have we given them the right to treat us like crap? Where did that come from? And I think it stems from that CSI, from the surveys.
Yeah,
But I
but-
mean, like, I've watched customers come in before and say, you're going to do this, this, and this for me. And it's like, well, wait a second. We don't owe you that.
No.
We had a guy come in for an oil change one time, and I'll never forget that guy. We were standing up there, and I was waiting for a service writer to get me a work order. Guy comes in, need an oil change on a Duramax. And the GM, he bought the GM policy where you get like the first 3 oil changes free or something like that.
Yep.
Well, anyways, with the oil change, you got 1 free gallon of DEF. That was part of the oil change. And the service writer tells the guy that. He's like, yep, your oil change. And he's like, you're going to fill that DEF up, right? I'm like, well, no, sir, this package only calls for you get a gallon of DEF put in. He's like, that's bullshit. He's like, you're going to fill it up. Well, no, your package states this. Nope, I'll call GM right now and they'll make you fill it up. Like he was, but they let these people talk to them like that. And see, that's the thing about my shop. I have people come in and talk to me like that. I tell them, get the hell out.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going
Well,
to stand there and be berated by somebody that just walked in off the street.
Well,
you know?
like I told the owner of the shop I worked at, I was like, hey, we've tried the nice thing. It'd come up every couple years or whatever. I said, let's just for a month, let's just try being the opposite. Let's see what happens. Right. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? I says, the dealership I worked at, it was a long distance to the next dealership. GM, Ford, you go across town sometimes. This wasn't that case. And I said, let's try it. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Our CSI is already down. It might come up. We might find the answer, but we, never had the guts to try it.
Right. And I'm not saying you got to be a jackass to the
I'm not
customers.
saying you walk in and you start throwing stuff at them.
Right, start throwing. Get the hell out.
What are you doing here?
I'm going to get a squirt bottle of water and put it on my desk at my shop. And when customers come in and if they start to be, I'm just going to squirt them with it until they stop being belligerent. I had a guy call me up 2 weeks ago. Didn't know who he was. Never worked on a car a day in life. Like, I did not know this guy. Did not know me at all. He calls me up and he says, hey, I need to get my truck into your shop, blah, 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 blah. This is going on. And he says, when can I get in? And I said, man, we are very busy because we're a very, very busy shop.
Yeah.
I says, you're looking at least 2 weeks for I can get in. It wasn't like something like, hey, I need my wiper blades changed. It was something like, hey, I need a transmission put in my truck or something.
Yeah, it was
a major repair.
Yeah.
And I told him, I says, man, we are 2 weeks behind. I says, we're doing the best we can to play catch up. And the guy cut me off mid-sentence. And he said, that's what everyone else has told me. And hung up the phone on me. Like, he was mad at me. I didn't even know this guy.
No.
And it kills me to know how many people are out there that just treat other people like trash.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Over something that's not in their control.
The worst, it's customer service. Customer service, any customer service person, you have the worst experience with customers.
Right.
Period. I mean,
you do.
You do. But
and,
I've never met a single person ever that was excited and happy to get their car fixed.
No, that's the thing. That's what the difference is between us and the salesman guys. When those people are buying cars, they're happy to buy. People love buying.
They want to buy
Yeah, they don't want to come see us.
They don't want to service it.
Right. And, I don't blame them. It sucks. It's expensive. You got to, you're down with your car, on and on and on and on and so forth. But, I mean, I don't know. The problem is I can tell you 100 bad stories about customers. But 90...
That's only?
Yeah.
Only 100? Come on.
Only 100. Yeah, I can tell you a lot more than that. Those are the ones I remember. I'll tell you a good one real quick. I can tell you this one. You're going to love this one. I had a guy come in the shop, and he says, come to my shop. He says, hey, I need a transmission, put in my Traverse. And I said, okay. And he says, I already have the transmission. And I'm like, well, I don't like installing customer parts, just so you know. And I said, but we'll just run with it. He says, okay, what do you charge me? I walk over to my computer, look up the labor rate. Yeah. Punch it all in. I said, you're looking at about $1,100 in labor plus fluid. I said, let's call it like $1,250. I said, just as a round number.
Yep.
And the guy says, that's too expensive. And I said, well, that's what it is. So take it or leave it. And he goes, well, I know a guy said do it for $650. And I says, why are you here? Why are you here then wasting my time?
Yeah.
And his exact words to me were, well, I don't know if he's going to do it correctly.
Well, not for $650. He's not.
Right? Why are you here then? Why? Why are you here?
Well, they're right there. There's another whole thing right there. What do you use? Shop key or
All data.
all data?
Yep.
Okay. Who comes up with these numbers?
The manufacturers.
I know, but I know they put it all out and everybody does it. And they take an average. Average this. No, you know what? It takes this long. This is where the trust issue in your employees comes in. Trust your employees to do a good job, not take it, not screw the customer over, and you'll get the car fixed right the first time in a reasonable amount of time.
Right.
Stop looking at what it's going to take.
Right. Right.
I get it. It's accountability and all that stuff.
It is.
But
That's the thing. That's the thing about when you start talking. I'm with you. When you start talking about flat rate and start talking about hourly pay and all this other stuff, I get so. I've heard a lot of debates when it comes to flat rate, when it comes to hourly pay, how technicians should be paid, how should they be paid, how should they be taken care of, compensated, all that stuff. I hear it all the time. It should be. They should be paid hourly. Yeah. Or they should be paid a salary or whatever and so forth. And I agree with all that. That's the thing. I 100% agree that flat rate is a problem. Yeah. But the problem to that problem is that there's no solution. There's no real solution to it. Because, and I don't know what that solution is. I don't.
Like you said, there's guys out there that will die by flat rate. They're like, because they're making a killing.
Yeah, they are. 89 hours in a 50-hour week.
Yeah, they're making a killing. Okay. What about the guy that's diagnosing something that's not?
That's the problem. Those guys get hosed.
Get it.
Well, we've said it for years. The smarter you are, the less money you make.
Exactly. And the longer you've been in the industry, the less money you're going to make, period. It's just the way it works. I mean, if you can diagnose good, you're probably not going to make a lot of money. I mean, back when I was in there, we were in the dealerships and stuff. Now, I think things have changed a lot. I mean, I was a diagnostic specialist. It was a certification I had to go take.
Right.
They walk in a room, said, fix the car, hit a watch, and they watch you.
Right.
And you got to fix the car correctly.
Right.
I mean, it's
what do we do to change the industry, though? You know what I'm saying? Like, I've had that. We've talked about that for years.
Well, like I said,
what do you do? You know what I'm saying?
You can't blame. You can't put all the blame on the dealers.
You can't. The manufacturers are the biggest problem.
Manufacturers are the biggest problem too. They got a huge problem, all their own.
That's I never understood about manufacturers. How is it that? I mean, we won't just say this '85 Chevy behind me, but why is it that if you take your 2024 GMC Sierra to the dealership and you're a technician, you get this truck on your hoist and it's got a bad wheel bearing right out of the box.
Yep.
And it pays, let's just say 2.5 hours to replace that bearing. Why does GM get to mandate that they're only going to pay 1.2? These are questions I don't understand, because why are the technicians having to pay for the manufacturer's failures?
Yeah. Well, like I said, this was years and years ago at the dealership. We had, you have your reps. You got your technical rep, and then I always call him the check writer. The guy that, he looks at all the numbers and he comes in and tells you whatever. The check writer rep came in, and he was green. I mean, green. And he walked over and he says, "Do you mind if I watch you work today?" And I said, "No problem." And I watched, let him watch me work, what I was doing and stuff like that. He got, good at his job. And when they had, they would do a goodwill thing, he would tell them, you have the option. You can have the customer pay and they pay labor, or, customer pays part and they pay labor, or the, customer pays labor and they pay the part.
Right.
Now, if the manufacturer's paying for the labor, they're going by what they say their warranty time is.
Right.
Period.
Right.
He understood that, and he understood how much I hated that. So he was good enough and did his job well enough that he made sure that every time he goodwilled something for a customer, the customer always paid the labor. They took care of the part.
That makes sense.
All the time. So we weren't the poor tech out in the shop wasn't taking it, because a manufactured part went bad.
Right.
That guy is way high up in the industry now and doing very well for himself. It really sucks that he left what he was doing, because he was doing a great job for us. But, just like everybody, moving on, moving up.
The only thing that I'll say, kind of in a kind of a wrap up to what we're talking about with dealers and stuff, 'cause we go on for days and days and days about dealer problems. We go on for days and days about our camera guy's yelling at me already, telling me that we're
Well, they're playing the music.
yeah, right. The music's already started. But I'll tell you what, though, we're going to sit down. We're going to revisit this at another date. We have a lot to go over in this show. We got a lot more episodes coming up. But I think next episode we're going to deviate away from dealership stuff. I'm not in the dealer anymore. You're not the dealer anymore. No. I'm a lot happier. You're a lot happier.
Oh, yeah.
If guys don't want to get in this business anymore, I don't blame them. Until something changes or something gets better, I don't blame these guys. And and next time, we'll rag on something else. We'll get on something else. I think we're going to talk more. We're going to dive more into off-roading, more into the stuff that we actually do. Yeah. Getting more guys. And I think that's where it starts. And there's only thing I'll say in the ending here is I think it starts with having a passion at a young age.
Oh, no. You got to.
Yeah.
If you liked Hot Wheels,
right,
and you probably are into cars, you're going to end up something to do with this industry.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. The passion has started at a young age. And if you're not into it at a young age, you're not passionate about a young age, I don't think this is an industry you need to be getting into.
No,
you have to love it from a little kid.
No,
you do.
It's not like any other industry. Even the medical industry, kind of pretty close. I always said, they're really close. The human body hasn't changed in hundreds of years, and the cars that we work on change every year. Every half a year sometimes. So something's different. But, if you don't have a passion for what you're doing, and I don't buy into that bullshit of if you love what you're doing, you don't work a day in your life. Has never worked on something they love that hasn't paid them.
Right.
Because if you take the pay away, I don't care how much you love it, you're not going to like it. You're going to get sick of it.
Right.
You're
right.
Right. I don't like that saying, and it's always been something that has upset me.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll shelf that other stuff for now. Like I said, we'll come back another episode. We're going to get into the big trucks, mega trucks, off-roads, Jeeps. Want to get into about Jeeps, but we will because I own one, so it's fine.
I've owned several.
Yeah,
going to look at another one. I'm stupid too.
Right, it happens. We'll get more into our project cars, everything else we're doing, things we're doing at my shop, and all that fun stuff. So thanks for listening to Behind the Wrenches today. I'm Zach, and this is Randy, and we will talk to you next week.